Hey everybody, it's meteorologist Jamie Singleton just setting up my Instagram shot here because I have to do that with this. It doesn't like OBS. So, just using the old tripod here and adjusting my tripod. I don't think it's going to let me tighten up. Here we go. It's being weird tonight. Well, you folks on Instagram are going to get a weird looking shot. I'm trying to get rid of the cropping here. There we go. That'll be good enough. Good enough. Maybe not. It's going to get cold. We got some snow coming in our forecast, and especially if you are in the West Virginia area, we've got some serious snow to talk about in terms of what we normally get for this time of the year. So, got that coming, got some wind on the way as well, and some rain before the snowfall gets here. But this is the dreaded polar vortex making a rare May appearance. All it is the lowest heights of air at 500 millibars anywhere in the northern hemisphere, but it means cold stuff. So, it's going to be out there, and we're going to have some impressive accumulations, I think, across the northeastern United States. So let me show you what's going on. We'll get to the maps here. And we've got thunderstorms off to our west in Texas, where we've had some huge hail reported out here. We've also got rain overspreading the Midwest here as this disturbance that you see in Nebraska moves a little bit farther to the east. This is the polar vortex here north of the Great Lakes. And again, it's got its eyes set on New England. It's going to drag down, though, all this cold air up here. If you look at the METARs, the surface observations are only in the teens and the 20s. And some of this air is going to be pivoting around this thing that basically looks like a huge fidget spinner with these individual lobes of energy rotating around it. It's almost become its own storm system. So we've got mainly clear skies over the area tonight, but clouds will be on the increase. I'll get rid of the overlays here. You can see that we've got the clouds out across our western region here as you make your way toward the central United States, and then you've got the rain not too far behind that. So the rain is on the way. Here's how it looks at the surface. This is our big cold front up here to the north, and this is going to combine with the storm system right now in Oklahoma to give us just a general rain for the day tomorrow. Probably starting about lunchtime and going into the afternoon, and we'll see maybe some heavier storms in there as well. Right now the storms are, again, in Oklahoma and around Arkansas, the Arklatex there. And we got some showers up around New York, but again, it's a very interesting pattern that I'm going to show you right now. So we'll get to the weather maps here. Now, let me show you the fidget spinner. This is pretty cool. Literally. Okay, you've got height anomalies here. Everyone's been asking. I heard somebody on the news yesterday, one of the news anchors asked the meteorologist, what in the world is going on? Well, it's high latitude blocking. I discussed it yesterday, and what we get with that is a ridge over Greenland and a ridge over the Alaska area all the way down the west coast. And what that does, when those two ridges form in that area, you tend to get cold air as a result that gets locked in between those two ridges here south of the Hudson Bay and around the Great Lakes area. That's exactly what's happened. And this was the pattern we were waiting on all winter. It's why we only had about an inch of snow for the whole winter. We kept waiting on this to develop, and it never did. So all the moisture that we could have used, went toward rain and slush, and we didn't get the snow. We didn't get the cold air locked in like we have it right now. And it's just the fact of the matter is, we've got that blocking now, so that's why it's doing its thing here. I want to point out, though, just because it's cold where you are, it's hot in the desert southwest. We expect that, but this is record heat. They've had temperatures today up around 100 to 110 degrees. In fact, if I show you some of the temperatures right now in that area, you can see that, other parts of the country, it's usually a balancing act here. So when we get really, or when the west gets really hot, you can count on us getting pretty cold there. Look at Phoenix at 102. That's crazy. But it will continue here. The pattern will stay pretty amplified as we go over the next day or so. And at least going in the next week, it looks pretty cool, if not cold. So this ridge actually gets stronger. You've got your height anomalies here. These are the colder than normal values, and they're colder than normal by quite a bit here. It's this purple it's indicating, and the darker blues as well. Going into Saturday and into Sunday, I'll show you the fidget spinner. Here it comes. Let's see, let me back it back up here. That's basically it. You see these individual lobes rotating around the main thing here. So as we go through Sunday, you've got another, and we were looking at maybe Sunday and the Monday warming back up, but you've got another piece here that hangs on. So this is another piece around the wheel that will continue rotating through. And that's why now, if you've been paying careful attention to the 7-day or somebody else's 7-day, you may have noticed a couple of days ago it looked like 60s and 70s, and now each day those numbers for next Monday and Tuesday are getting lower, and that's because of this. It's continuing to deepen a little bit longer. And blocking patterns are called that for a reason. They're called blocking patterns because once they set up, they're hard to get rid of. And we may have this cooler than normal weather well into next Tuesday or Wednesday. And then beyond that, we do see signs here on the Euro of things trying to warm up. You get more of a ridge here in the jet stream level by Thursday. This is the 14th of May, the 15th of May for Friday. This would be a warm pattern. But I caution you that the models have been edging back on the arrival of the warm weather for quite some time. In fact, they're trending much cooler for next week, the first half of next week anyway. So let's look at our rainfall and what's going to be happening for tomorrow. This is at 8 a.m. for Friday. You can see rain makes it to West Virginia. Most of the rain's going across central Kentucky and Tennessee. And as we advance here through the day, now I'm up to about lunchtime. And right around noon is where we expect the front edge of this rain to be. We've got rain all the way back here, and it doesn't look like showers. I mean, this model's showing mainly just rain, probably just more sporadic showers to the south. The thing that may enhance it is there's going to be an area of low pressure that develops along the front. So at some point, we are going to get some enhanced, just general steady to moderate rain at some point. And then that's going to be happening right as the colder air moves in. In fact, the low will probably bring in the cooler air. This is it right here in Tennessee, and this is Friday afternoon around 4 o'clock. By 6, 7, 8 o'clock, notice it starts to snow. Those snow levels coming down to about 4,000 feet, 3,500 feet in the West Virginia. And that's, again, an indication of the colder air that's coming in aloft with the system. It's being pulled down to the surface and brought into the moisture, while we still have lift overhead from the upper level disturbance. So it's a combination of those two things. Friday evening, the snow makes it all the way down through Beckley and Bluefield. This is at 10 p.m. Friday night. And then as we go into the early morning hours of your Saturday, we have some snow that will linger for a little bit across the Greenbrier Valley of West Virginia. Temperatures may be plenty cold by this time for it to stick. And it even makes it down across the NRV in spots in the Giles County and Tazewell County here. So don't be surprised if you see a few flakes fall, if you see a robust snow squall or snow shower here, because it's also going to get windy as that front moves through. But then high pressure eventually winds out here. The dry air will cut off our snow here by Saturday afternoon, but we're still going to have some flurries and even some snow squalls and snow bands here across the Northeast, getting into the Potomac Highlands of West Virginia and Western Virginia, north of the Shenandoah Valley. These are our temperatures. This is off the Euro model, and I'll start you out with, this is tonight. So a lot of locations tonight are still going to be fairly chilly. It's a clear night. We may go below these numbers for a few locations. Dew point's only 33 here at the station. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a lot cooler than what the model is showing here. That happened again last night with that bright full moon. My goodness. Out there again tonight made it hard to sleep. My brain thought it was daylight. Now for tomorrow, for Friday, here's an interesting day because it's going to be rainy by afternoon, but ahead of the rain, temperatures may get a chance to spike up into the 60s here. Martinsville 61, 63 Lynchburg, 65 in Danville, but it's already into the Elkins area. We're already into the upper 40s, so we've already got about a 15 to 20 degrees temperature change, and it will be centered along the mountains for the day tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, we start to fall back off to around 40, if not the upper 30s, through Greenbrier and Pocahontas County. We're still about 65 in Danville, but now 57 in Roanoke. Sometimes these models can bring the colder air too far east too fast, but I definitely think the NRV, Floyd County, areas in the mountains and through Allegheny, Bath, Highland County, Craig County, you're going to see those temperatures drop throughout the day tomorrow. So that by midnight to 2 a.m., and then beyond that, for Saturday morning here, by 8 a.m., we're in the 20s across the Greenbrier Valley of West Virginia. And we're right at freezing up against the Roanoke Valley. That's why those freeze warnings are in effect. So if you have anything that you've planted out there, let's say it's a tomato plant, hopefully you've got the buckets in hand. You know that May can be on the chilly side, the blackberry winter or whatever, but this will be record cold, more than likely. So yeah, it's been cold in May. It just has not been this cold in May. And it's all related to the global blocking pattern that's causing all this. So remember, just because it's not cold where you are doesn't mean it's not a warmer situation across the globe. It's interesting how that works out, but it can't be the same temperature everywhere. We know that, right? Now, Saturday afternoon, not much of a recovery here. We're only in the upper 40s for highs across the Roanoke Valley area. I don't know if Franklin County gets above 51. Lynchburg, much the same. South side, we'll probably get into the 50s for Saturday, but look at the afternoon temperatures in the mountains. Barely making it above freezing, and probably with a little snow on the ground through West Virginia here, with a lot of wind too. I'm expecting, with that temperature contrast, I'm expecting wind gust over 40 miles per hour. Look for a wind advisory at some point tomorrow, issued for probably the mountainous areas. We'll see if that can get into the Roanoke Valley area as well. But it will be, if not technically windy for the wind advisory, it will be something you notice either way. And that will add to the wind chill. The thing to watch also is going to be Saturday night into Sunday morning. I think temperatures have a chance of getting down into the upper 20s everywhere because we're going to not have the wind around. We'll have clear skies, and it'll be one of those days where any little heat that we get Saturday, it's not going to get too warm Saturday. The winds are going to be light, skies clear, dry air in place. All that goes right up into space. Clouds can act as a blanket at nighttime. And when you don't have them with dry air in place and when you keep the air real still, those temperatures create like a refrigeration effect, and you start to drop off really fast after the sun sets. So watch out Mother's Day morning for frost, not just a freeze, but a frost and freeze across a good part of the area here coming up. So I know a couple of farms, orchards, whatever, may be doing the spraying, because if you spray water and it's in the process of freezing, it actually releases a little bit of latent heat, and that could be enough to keep the temperature on the crop right above 32 as long as that process continues going, which is why they use the fine sprinkling system there. But buckets also will trap the warm air too. Those 5-gallon buckets above your plants. Of course, if you can bring them inside, that's optimal. Now, Sunday afternoon, it starts to warm up here as we have dry air in place, but it's not looking as warm as it was a couple of days ago, probably in the lower to middle 60s, but that's going to be about it. The highest elevations are still going to be only in the lower 50s, even on Mother's Day. That's going to be with a bright blue sky, though, so it will be pretty out there for Mom. Coming up Sunday afternoon. Here's how the Yarrow handles the rainfall, and you can see it moves in about the same time here that we're looking for. Stop it at 8 p.m. on Friday. Move that over a little bit for you, and you can see the areas of rain heaviest here right along the front in West Virginia, but notice the pink. That's where the rain's going to be changing over to snow. Could be some sleet in between here, and you've got some pretty good snow up around Wheeling here into the Parkersburg area going into the Pittsburgh area. That's pretty interesting. Saturday or Friday night into early Saturday here, look where the snow is. Floyd County, yeah, some snow, and I know it can snow in Floyd. You're going to have that around 2 a.m., I think, and then it may be, I think this model's got a pretty good handle on it. Looks like it's an elevation snow event. The moisture will be limited as we go through the morning hours, but I think for a few hours, especially from about midnight to say 4 a.m., it's going to be one of those situations where we still have moisture in place and that colder air is moving in. So it could be snowing out there in many backyards and front yards coming up early Saturday before sunrise. And heaviest, of course, in the Greenbrier Valley. But notice it makes it all the way down into the mountains of North Carolina here, down across Boone into just around Asheville area. Cherokee, North Carolina has snow. Mountains of Tennessee, some snow. So that's pretty remarkable for the 8th and 9th of May. Coming up Saturday morning, later in the morning, it begins to fizzle, the dry air winds, and we start to see more sunshine. But again, the winds are going to be something to deal with all day. Now, look at this. This is new. Coming in Monday, we've got a little front that moves in, but I mentioned the models were trending colder with this coming up Monday. Notice this once again. Look, this is Monday, the 11th of May, and we've got another area of snow here. Right where you would expect it in the Greenbrier Valley of West Virginia once again. So Greenbrier, Pocahontas County here, Pendleton County, getting some more snow possibly next Monday. And then once again behind this, it's a fresh supply of cool air. Remember our fidget spinner had those spikes around it. So we still see cooler than normal weather here coming up for Tuesday afternoon, but with more dry weather and sunshine. I know a lot of folks need to cut hay, need to let it sit for a few days. It looks good next week for that outside of Monday. It will still be relatively chilly outside, but it won't be overly wet or unsettled. So there's your hay cutting forecast. Now this is a overdone accumulation map in my opinion. This is the UK Met, but I did want to show you where the most likely areas for getting accumulations are. And they are, of course, in West Virginia. Up to an inch or two, can't rule it out. This is using a 10-to-1 ratio though, and I think ratios are going to be more like, 1 to 10 ratio. It's going to be more like a 1 to 4 ratio. But in the highest elevations, it'll be more like a 1 to 10 ratio maybe with the cold air coming in aloft. But you can see across the Greenbrier Valley here, you've got potential for a coating. And coating I'll call 2 inches or less is what I use in my forecasting here. But look across the Northeast if you have any friends up there. Finally, a lot of the, we call them weather weenies, and we're all of us weather nerds are, but folks that have been rooting on some snow across the Northeast that are fans of snow, and I can't imagine this time of the year anyone is a fan of snow, but some folks are going to be blessed with some snowfall here as we get into interior New England, into Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And coastal Maine even could see some snow as this moves up the coast. But that's on my YouTube channel. I'll talk more about that on there. This is the surface map from the Weather Prediction Center, and you can see how the storm system evolves. And again, tomorrow's a wet day. It may not start out wet. That's tomorrow morning. This is tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Then the front moves through. Our temperatures will be falling by around 7 or 8 p.m., especially in the mountains. Then once the sun sets, the transition occurs, and you're going to be seeing some snowfall reports. I'll try to get some webcams up and running. I was going to maybe chase the snow some, but I'll probably stay here since I'm working at the harvester this weekend. But it's going to be plenty cold for snow. And that's going to continue into Saturday. We've got our second front here, moisture starved. This is the one for Monday, as I mentioned. Again, Mother's Day is nice, but you see that high is parked right over Greensboro, North Carolina, and Asheboro. And around it, the contour here includes much of our area. That means light winds and chilly temperatures. Now going into Monday, the front has little moisture to work with, so maybe a shower. I've got about a 20% chance in my 7-day right now. But this is a fresh supply of cool air that comes back in for Tuesday. And then for Wednesday and Thursday, this doesn't scream above normal temperatures, maybe up to normal. But I'm looking at, normal 75. I'm still looking at upper 60s in this pattern. So we continue to kind of see it evolve like that. And just to show you the temperatures at 5,000 feet, scroll down here a little bit. Here comes, this was today, it's why it was so nice. You can see we had some mild air at 850 in here. I show you 5,000 feet because we don't have to worry about the daytime heating and the overnight cooling. You don't see that at 5,000 feet because it's high, just high enough off the ground to where you can actually track the warm and cool air masses without worrying about the afternoon spikes in temperature and the overnight drops in temperature. what we call diurnal range. We get rid of that by looking just a little bit up the ground. But you can see the really cold air here north of the Great Lakes. Still, the rain snow line's in purple. That's the 0 degrees Celsius line, 32 Fahrenheit. So see how it gets closer to us Friday, and then by Friday evening it finally crosses the mountains by about 10 p.m. This is the UKMet model. You've got way cold air here, minus 10 Celsius. 5,000, just 5,000 feet off the ground. It's pretty impressive stuff. But we keep the cool air again for Mother's Day. It warms up a little bit because it's dry, but we just get little hunks of this mild air that move into next week. There's no huge warming that goes on that I can see through next Wednesday. So we really need this air out here to jump over the mountains before we see it break up. It's got to at some point. And again, if we look back on this map, you can see that if we go out to about, Sunday, May the 17th, you've got more of a zonal flow here. This is only if the model's correct. But we finally break down the Pacific Ridge and have a trough off the coast, and that allows for this ridging in through here. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, we still have some ridging in Greenland, and that tends to hold this cool air across the Hudson Bay a bit longer. So what it may mean for the Northeast is cooler than normal, but not quite as cold with time. We'll eventually break the pattern, unfortunately, and you got to be careful whenever there's cold weather like this here. You got to wait about a month or two because it is Virginia, and it happens everywhere, though. But things may go the other way on us, come the late spring and early summer. So that's your forecast. My phone did not like me trying to do my Instagram tonight. It just was not meant to be. So I got to do a hard reboot on this thing. Wish me luck. But I will talk to you again tomorrow. In the meantime, have a good night.